Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, nahmadu wa nasalli ala Rasul Kareem. The chapter on the how the salat of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was at night time. Imam Malik narrated from Ibn Shihab, narrated from Urwa bin Zubayr, narrated from Aisha, the wife of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to pray in the night 11 rakats, and one of them was the Witr, and then he would rest on his right side after he had finished that. Imam Malik narrated from Hisham and Urwa, who narrated from his father, Urwa. So Hisham narrated from Urwa, his father, who narrated from Aisha radiallahu anha, who was the nephew of Aisha radiallahu anha, the mother of the believers, that she said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to pray in the night 13 rakats, and then he used to pray when the adhan was called in the morning, 2 rakatain khafifatain, 2 very light rakats. Meaning referring to the sunnahs, as we learnt last week, the 2 sunnahs of Fajr were very, very short. And we learned that narration that the wife of the Prophet ﷺ said it was so short that I was questioning whether he read Fatiha or not even. Like it was such a short salat. Meaning that the normal reading of Rasulullah ﷺ, which is very slow, that this was not maybe our way, speed of Fatiha. Rasulullah ﷺ, out of his normal habit, it was like quite short. Imam Malik narrated from Makhrab bin Sulaiman, who narrated from Qurayb, the freed slave of Ibn Abbas, that Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu anhu informed him that he spent the night with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam at Maymuna, the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she was his auntie, and he stayed on the same like he was a small kid, so the bed was where Rasulullah used to sleep. So husband and wife were sleeping, and then as a child staying over the night, he slept on the end, you could say, on the width of the bed, right? And then Rasulullah sallallahu slept until it was the middle of the night, or just before it, by a little bit, or a little bit after it, like it was the middle of the night, the dead of the night. He woke up and he sat up, he wiped his face, and then he recited the last 10 ayat of Surah Al-Imran, and then he went up to the leather bag which was full of water, and he made wudu. And he made a perfect wudu, complete wudu, and then he stood up and prayed. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, I stood up to do what he was doing, like copying him. He was a small child. And because I went, and I stood next to him, and in another narration explained, he stood on the left side. And if you're following someone in salat, you stand on the right side of the Imam is on the left side. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam put his hand on my head, and he took my ear, he took his ear, took by his ear, twisted his ear. And in the narration, he brought him across to the other side. And so from that also understand, a certain level of action, small action, is excused in salat. Like if a door's opening, about to open, you push it doesn't break the salat, as an example. So a very small movement. Then he prayed 2 rakats. And then he prayed 2 rakats, then 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 2 rakats. And then he rested, and then he prayed Witr. Until the Mu'adhin came, and then he prayed 2 light rakats, and he went out to pray the Fajr, meaning the Jama'at, the Fard Salat. Imam Malik narrated from Abdullah, the son of Abu Bakr, who narrated from his father, that Abdullah bin Qais bin Makhrama informed him that Zayd bin Khalid Juhani, that he said, that he stood out, he slept at the tent, or outside of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's tent. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam stood up in the night, like he basically is at the doorstep, he slept, and he said he prayed 2 long rakats, and two long rakats. Then he prayed 2 rakats that were less than the ones before. Then he prayed 2 rakats who were less than the ones before. Then he prayed 2 rakats and that were less than the ones before. Then he prayed 2 rakats that were less than the ones before. Then he prayed 2 rakats and they were less than the ones before. And then he made witr, and together this was 13 rakats. Shah Waliullah, in summarizing these hadiths, he says that Yahya bin Yahya, he's alone in this hadith, in these matters. that the first two were longer, but in other narration mentioned that the first two rakats at the beginning of the night, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he prayed very short rakat first, then he prayed the long ones afterwards. And then he said 3 times long ones, 2 long ones, 2 long ones, 2 long ones. He repeated this. While other than him have narrated twice. So he did 3 times. It's possible that he was exaggerating, his mubalagha, exaggerate in the length of the rakats. And the meaning of the hadith, according to Imam Shafi Rahimahullah, that from this hadith is taken that the maximum witr is 11 rakats or 13 rakats, right? And according to Imam Hanifa Rahimahullah, that witr is 3 rakats, right? And the 8 rakats are nafal, tahajjud. In Fatawa al-Amgiriya is mentioned that the epitome of tahajjud, meaning the muntaha of tahajjud, is 8 rakats, right? Because you used to do tahajjud 2 rakats. We said the epitome or the end limit is 8 rakats, and then why does it mention 11 rakats? It's saying that it's 8 plus there's 3 prayed right at the end, right? But because the 3 is made up of 2 and 1, then it's mentioned like as 2s, but it's attached to so the 8 are prayed in 2 2s, and the last one is a 2 plus 1 anyway. You can't, so it's a witr, but it's and you've basically prayed 2 and then a 1. So you've done 2 and then a 1, but it has 3 rakats. So that's the way they explain it, that the witr is only 3, right? And the 8, any extra rakats than before is enough, is a tahajjud. While the other Imam Shafi Rahmanullah's view is no, all of this is witr. As one block, it's treated as like as one block. This is a ikhtilaf, difference of opinion in the way they looked at witr. They have a different view on what witr is, what Qiyam Layl is. The dua that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made when he woke up, got up for salat in the dead of the night. Imam Malik narrated from Abu Zubair al-Makki and narrated from Tawus al-Yamani from Abdullah ibn Abbas radhiyallahu anhu, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that when he stood up in the dead of the night, that he's made this dua, Allahumma lakal hamdu anta nuru samawati wal ard, wa lakal hamdu anta qayyum samawati wal ard, wa lakal hamdu anta rabbu samawati wal ard, wa man fihin anta al-haqq wa qawla haqq wa wa'duka al-haqq wa liqa'a haqq والجنة حق والنار حق والساعة حق اللهم لك أسلمت وبك آمنت وعليك توكلت وإليك أنبت وبك خاصمت وإليك حاكمت فاغفر لي ما قدمت وما أخرت وأسررت وأعلنت أنت الإله لا إله إلا أنت. So this is dua, the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Allah, you're the light of the heavens and the earth. For you is the praises. You're the one who the heavens and the earth are established by you. For you is the praise. You're the Lord of the heavens and the earth and whatever is in them. You are the true, your speech is true, your promise is true, meeting is true, Jannah is haqq, is true, the paradise is true, the fire is true, the hour is true, Qiyamah, and to you I submit, and you I believe, and on you I rely, and to you I repent, and by you I judge, and so forth until the end. And forgive me what I have put forward, for the things that I've done, forgive me, and that I've delayed, and what is hidden and open. You are my ilah, you are my God. There is no God except for you. So you'll find this in the dua books, the dua for tahajjud. The being balanced or moderate in your actions. Imam Malik narrated Ismail, narrated Abu Hakim, that is reaching the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he heard a woman in the night that she was praying, and she said, "Who is this?" Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked, "Who is this?" He said, "This is Khawla binti Tuwayd. She does not sleep in the night." Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't like this until I could see the dislike on his face. And he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not get bored until you get bored. So do according that you have ability. Like, in short, like, don't burn yourself out trying to do things that you can't. You're overdoing it. That you overdo it and you fall and you collapse on your face. It's like a marathon, like we're doing this for the long term, not like it's not a sprint like you do one night a year and you put all your energy into one night and then the rest every night is the same for the rest of the year. No, Rasulullah didn't like that she was overdoing exertion to the point that she cannot keep this up as a regular act, right? Doing things every now and then, right? Like, this is a daily amal. Tahajjud is supposed to be a daily amal that we're supposed to aspire for, not done once a year, right? So to do something daily, you have to build yourself up to that and make it a regular routine. If you're burning yourself out on just one night a year and then not do anything for the other 360 days a year, so of course that's Rasulullah said, Allah will not get bored of you until you get bored. You get bored. Allah will not get bored of you until you get bored. Like Allah loves it that you pray, but you will tire yourself out. You will give up this action. So therefore, don't impose upon yourself for which you have no strength. Imam Malik narrated from Hisham bin Urwa, who narrated from his father, narrated from Aisha, the wife of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when one of you feels sleepy and he's in a salat, then he should rest, go to sleep until. It's not talking about Fajr Salat Fard, alright? It's talking about Tahajjud, right? If I feel sleepy at Fajr time, I have to get up and pray Fajr, regardless of sleepy or not sleepy. It's about Tahajjud. If you feel sleeping and you're dozing off, right? Then go to rest until the sleep. Because if someone prays, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, someone prays and he's dozing off, he doesn't know that he's making istighfar or he's swearing at himself. Like he's mixing up the words. And because he's falling asleep, he's يذهب ليستغفر فيسب نفسه. He doesn't know لعله يذهب ليستغفر ويسب نفسه. And because he's trying to make istighfar, instead he's cursing himself or swearing. He said يسب نفسه, he's abusing himself. This is, and Shah Waliullah says, this is the qawl of the ulama, that all the ulama, they emphasize this point as well. The most beloved amal is that which is continuous. And Imam Malik narrated from Hisham bin Urwa who narrated from his father, who narrated from Aisha, the wife of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, radiyallahu anha, and that she said that the most beloved amal to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the most beloved act, that which the person who did it was continuous. It was part of their routine, their daily routine, if you can put it that way, like in the way we would understand. It's something that he did it continuously, always. That action has become part of that person. That is part of their. Like that is part of them now, because it's a regular thing. It's not a haphazard thing every now and then. The chapter on the one who sleep overwhelms him from his daily routine. Imam Malik narrated from Muhammad al-Munkadir, who narrated Sa'id and Jubair, who narrated from a man who is relied upon, trustworthy, and people are pleased with his narration, that is reaching that Aisha, meaning is reliable in narration, that Aisha radiallahu anha, the wife of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, has informed him that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, never does a person that who prays in the night, like he has a routine of praying tahajjud in the night, but sleep overcame him, except that Allah writes from the reward of that. So he's trying to pray and he falls asleep, right? Except that a reward is written for him as though he prayed, and the sleep is a sadaqah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For him. It's a charity from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, gift for him. And the last bab for today, that whoever misses their hizb, their routine of the action they do for the night, whether it be Quran, whether it be generally talking about Quran and Salat from the night, then he should recite it in the day. Imam Malik narrated from Darul ibn Hussein, who narrated from the A'raj, who narrated from Abdul Rahman ibn Abdul Qari, that Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu said, whoever misses their hizb from the night, then he should do it whoever misses their routine, the act they've set aside in the night, then he should do it before midday. Sorry, حين تزول الشمس إلى صلاة الظهر. So from sunrise until before dhuhr. So in the morning time, he's missed it in the night time. Then in the morning time, after sunrise, until the middle of the day, midday, zuhr, right? Then he should, if he does it, فَإِنْ لَمْ يَفُتُ كَانَّهُ دَرَكُ, it's as though that he hasn't missed it, that he did the prayer. So if his routine is tahajjud at night time, let's say his routine is to get up and pray 4 rakat, every day he prays at 5 o'clock, his tahajjud, that's for whatever reason, he was tired, traveling, he missed it, right? Then he should do them during the day. Well, witr you have to do qada, as we've learned before. So, and it should be done in order as well, before the fajr. So we mentioned that last week. But if he misses that routine, then he should make this up in the day, in the mid-morning. If he makes it up, then as Umar radiallahu anhu mentioned in this narration, that it's as though that he never missed it, right? Or as though that he got it on its time. as though he prayed at 5 o'clock in the morning, as an example. And he says here in Minhaj, it's mentioned, it's a Shafi fiqh book, or a hadith commentary, that if he misses the nafil, that it's got a set time. Muwaqqat is a nafil that has got a set time. Then it's mandub, it is mustahab, it is good, is rewarded for it if he does qada of that. Qada of nafil prayers. That if he makes it up later after its time, then it's mandub to do that. And this is something people should impose upon themselves, right? Like routines are very hard to establish. And they're like almost impossible to establish. And there's all books on it and trying to get a discipline in a timetable. But it's possible, it's doable. Especially this morning time discipline, nighttime discipline are very hard. So therefore, one should be mindful to make them. If you have a routine, establishing it, and you cannot do the establish the routine, you miss. Then you should not abandon it totally, because that will break the routine. And subhanallah, if you do miss it, then a reward is written. And if you do it not in the actual time, still you get the reward as though you did it in time. If you want to have the routine for the long term, then you'll have to make up for it. And this is like very senior Shaykh Waliullah Rahimahullah. He said that in his recommendation, if you have a routine in the night time, you should do it. Impose upon yourself that you never miss it. Right? You get the reward for it is one thing, but you're not breaking the routine still. So anyway, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding.